go. Hey, participant number one, how you doing today?
I am doing well, thanks.
Thanks for participating in this semi-structured interview for qualitative research. So today I'm going to ask you some questions regarding qualitative research topic I'm working on. Just some open-ended questions regarding exploring attitudes and behaviors related to AI technology with the future of work and the implementation of AI and your thoughts about that. Okay.
Okay.
So some introductory questions. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Okay. What is your role with your current company?
I am a program leader.
Program leader. Okay.
Yeah, program leader.
How long have you been in this role?
For this company, about a year or so, but I've have over 20 years of experience in project and program management type roles.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So how long have you been with your current company?
A couple of years.
Okay, couple years. Okay. What types of duties or work responsibilities do you perform, just at a high level?
Um, Well, let's see. I'm managing a new program that we are introducing. So I manage all of our internal and external people that do work on that program, or I manage their work related to the program.
Uh-huh.
And I work with external clients that may participate in the program,
Uh-huh.
purchase the program, and participate. And then I just have some other miscellaneous duties just associated with being an employee at the company.
Okay. Okay, good. Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so now we'll get down to the questions. So how do you feel about the increasing use of AI technology in your workplace?
And by AI, you mean,
Oh, artificial intelligence,
oh, okay.
AI, artificial intelligence, automation of software and making things easier, kind of like
Okay.
ChatGPT and things like that. So good question. Go ahead and just how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm very curious about it, actually. In some ways I'm excited, in some ways I'm a little apprehensive, because it's something new that I've been exposed. I don't use it in my work currently, but I have to take continuing education credits
Uh-huh.
to maintain my certification.
Uh-huh.
And the classes I've been choosing so far have been classes about how project managers are using artificial intelligence to help
Oh,
them do their jobs.
okay.
And it's that's really been interesting, and I'm going to take more classes in that because I can see how it's very beneficial and
Okay.
helpful.
Okay. Good. Okay. Thank you. I'm typing some notes here while you're talking. So good. So here's
Okay.
a little probing question based on that. Can you describe a specific instance where AI technology positively impacted your work experience? You have any thoughts?
Well, like I said, I'm not using it yet, but one of the classes I took was focused on risk management and um, and prompting AI to to help the project manager really do an excellent job of documenting and planning potential risks that then the project manager could present to the project team. And
Oh,
they could modify, they could add to, they could subtract and say, oh, that doesn't really relate here. But I just remember as a project manager before AI, you bring up risk planning and people look at me with the deer in the headlights. The hardest thing was just kind of get people started thinking about that because
yeah.
It's not something people really want to think about. They don't
Yeah.
want to think about things that could go wrong.
Okay.
And so with AI, and I was extremely impressed in this training class with the outputs that the artificial intelligence was generating. So I feel like in my work, I could take the starting point to my project team, and it would help, it would save me a lot of time. It would save the project team a lot of time, and we could have a really meaningful and valuable discussion and do our risk planning, yeah, much more efficiently and effectively with the
Okay.
use of AI.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Here's another probing question related to that. Can you share an example when AI technology created challenges or concerns for you?
Mm, well, um, I guess, again, I'm not using it currently at work, but as I think about using it at work, one of my concerns is privacy.
Yeah.
And like in the project management training, they emphasized over and over again, don't share anything that's like company private or confidential, any information that's secure.
Oh, okay.
So so as they were, because you have to give AI
Mhm.
something to go on to
Right.
hit meaningful results. And
Right.
so um, it's kind of the better inputs you have, the better output you get.
Uh-huh.
But, we don't want to be sharing anything that would, share confidential company information or things like
Right.
that. So, one is, where is that line
Yeah.
between what's okay to share and what I shouldn't share. Sometimes it's very clear,
Right.
but um, you know, uh, in other cases maybe not quite so much.
Okay.
So that's that balance of privacy and security and honoring that and providing enough input to the AI system to get meaningful output.
Okay. Good. Very. Okay. Very good. Thanks. Okay, moving right along here. Okay. Okay. So here's another question, different. Um, uh, what opportunities do you think AI automation creates for employees in your role or industry? What do you think?
Mm. Well, I think it could take a lot of the drudgery out of being a project or program manager. It could, uh, again, give us a great place to get started with risk planning, with project planning, project scheduling. Um, I mean, it's just so many things, status reporting. Um, I mean, almost every aspect of a project manager's job, and
Uh-huh.
that would free up more time for critical thinking, for analyzing, information, for connecting with people, and the team. Being more available to the team rather than sitting behind the computer.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. That's good. Yeah. Good.
I think it could really save a lot of time and just make a lot of things easier.
Yeah.
And potentially more effective too, because maybe it would think of things that I didn't think of or the team didn't think of.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So here's a contingency probe based on that question. Can you provide an example of how AI has helped you or your team achieve better results?
No, I mean, I don't have anything tangible to share right now. I have ideas like I just shared for how it would help,
Uh,
but I don't have any specific results to report at this time.
okay. That's okay. Okay. So another contingency probe based on, like, have you experienced any instances where AI opened new career paths or upskilling opportunities for you?
Oh, I haven't yet, but I really think it could.
Really? Okay.
Um, I think that would be a very marketable skill to be a project or program manager that had experience, especially successful experience with AI. That'd be great to put on a resume.
Okay. Um, Here's a new question. In what ways, if any, has AI automation influenced your daily tasks or responsibilities at work?
Well, it hasn't yet, but I could see being able to handle more projects at a time because the workload to manage each one, I think, could be less.
Hmm.
So I could get my work done more efficiently and hopefully effectively and then be able to handle more projects or have more time
Good.
available for other tasks.
Good question. Okay, good. Here's a contingency probe based on that question. Can you describe a situation where AI automation streamlined or simplified your tasks?
Well, I think this is all conjecture, right? Because I haven't used it yet, but my ideas are, I think that applying it to risk planning would really save a lot of time.
Hmm.
Also, creating project plans and schedules, and in the training, I even found one example, where it found the critical path very quickly. Um, so status reporting, I mean, pretty much almost every administrative aspect of project management, I think it would benefit.
Okay.
And it even, can create presentation slides and things like that
Yeah.
based on content that I give it. Again, you have to think about the privacy part,
Right.
um, but yeah, that just to think that a tool could create presentation slides and, communication materials. Oh, writing, that's another
Yeah.
thing. Writing.
Writing. Oh, writing.
Writing emails, project communications, things like that. Really good at that. So I would hope my company would get its own AI system so that I wouldn't have to be so concerned about privacy and security. Like if the company had its own AI operating within our firewall,
Right.
um, then I could just like put all my project documents in there and
Yeah.
and then ask for what I needed back.
So here's another probing question based on that. Have there been instances where AI made your work more difficult or complex? And if it did, how did you manage that?
I think one area is that security, privacy.
Right.
So managing that is a to be determined. I'll just have to experiment with how generic I can make
Uh,
things and still get valuable feedback. One of the people in training also said there was a setting in, I can't remember, it was Chat GPT. I think it was Chat GPT,
uh,
where you could tell it not to use my content in its training data. But can you really trust that? But that's one
oh,
question I
okay.
had. Sorry, can you repeat your question again? Because I think I had another thought.
Uh,
What was your question?
the says have there been instances where AI made your work more difficult or complex, and how did you manage?
Oh, well, yeah. So my other response to that is kind of what I'm going through now is just learning about the new tools and
Okay.
how to use them, which ones to use for what. So, there's a
Oh,
whole bunch
okay.
of new tools out there. It's
Gotcha.
a journey in itself. unless my company is going to provide guidance. It's a journey in itself to figure out what to use for what and when,
Wow, you sound like a
and
very,
then,
sound like a very,
learn about it.
sound like a very seasoned professional. You sound like you're very, your company must value you so much. So how confident, next question, confident do you feel about adapting to new roles or responsibilities created by AI automation?
Yeah, I feel pretty confident I would be able to, learn what I need to learn. Yeah,
Okay.
I feel pretty confident. I feel, like I said, kind of excited about that.
Okay.
Makes my job more interesting, actually.
Oh, you sound like are you a Gen Z or something? You sound very young. Okay, let's go.
But I have to have time though to be able,
Huh?
because that all takes time to
Oh,
learn.
okay.
So, if I'm like overloaded with work, even if I want to learn it, I
Right.
guess this is back to your previous question. But if I'm overloaded with work and I don't even have time to get the work I
Yeah, that's a good
have
point. Yeah.
done, then how am I going to take the time to like really learn how to use
Right.
these new tools and do it in a quality way? So need to have time to do that.
I'm thinking about AI COE when you say that. That's very good. Okay, so that's a good point. So another probing question based on that. Can you share an experience where training or organizational support helped you feel more prepared to adapt?
Well, yeah, like I mentioned, if the company would come out with its own AI product inside the firewall, you know, or or a set of tools that these are our AI tools,
Uh-huh.
um, and then guidelines for how to use those tools.
Right.
You can do this, but don't do that, that kind of stuff. Then it would help point me in the right direction and kind of give me those guardrails of what's allowed or what I can and
Oh,
can't do.
I'm thinking about the AI COE when you say that. Okay, thanks. Okay. Um, here's another probing question based on that. What barriers, if any, have you faced when trying to adapt to AI changes in your role?
Oh. I just thought of one other thing about your last
Oh, go
question. Is
ahead.
that
Sure.
okay?
Yeah, sure.
Um, let's see. It would be very helpful for the company if they had some kind of internal support group or something, where people
Oh,
that use AI tools
oh,
could share experiences and what's working, what's not working.
oh.
Um,
That's a good
that'd be
point.
really great to, instead of having to find those people on my own, if
Ah,
the company would set something up like that, and where people could kind of join ad hoc as they needed to, but um, you
ah,
know, like you knew every, I don't know what the right thing might be, but here's a group of people, or maybe,
uh-huh.
there's a Zoom session every week on Wednesdays from 12
Yeah.
to 1, or whatever, something like that would be nice too.
Ah, that's another thing for the AI COE. Okay, here's another probing question. So what barriers, if any, have you faced when trying to adapt to AI changes in your role?
Mhm. Well, yeah, I mean, geez, there's so many products out there now. It's
Oh,
like,
true. Hmm.
which ones to use? And then, as far as I know, I don't have any budget or anything.
Oh,
So, or I don't know what the company is sanctioned or not. So it's kind of like the wild, wild west,
ah,
is if I went to use it, am I using tools the company
yeah.
wants me to use,
That's
or
a
am I
good one.
using them in the way that the company wants me to use
Yeah.
them? Am I providing the kind of inputs to the AI the company is okay with or
Oh,
not? So there's a lot of, I mean, there's no information right now about how to use it,
yeah.
what to use, what's okay, what's not okay.
That's another
And
one.
there's nobody that I know of I can go to ask.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no like focal point or main contact or anything like that. So there's
Oh,
probably, you know, a bunch of us out there all doing our own thing,
yeah, good,
uh,
great points.
in an uncoordinated way.
Well, here's a new question for you. How do you, how do you perceive AI automation will impact job security in your industry? Any ideas?
Well, I think the people that don't learn how to use it in an effective way, I think they risk being left behind. I don't know how long that will take, but you know, we've got to stay current with technologies, useful technologies, not use technology for technology's sake, but um, if we're not like up on the current tools and using them in productive ways, it's going to be tough to compete against people who are. And then also, like, what if I make a mistake and I input something into the AI that I wasn't supposed to unknowingly, right?
Yeah,
Maybe I could get in trouble
yeah.
and, something happened to my job because I unintentionally did the wrong thing. So that kind of makes me
Oh,
afraid to use AI at work because, what if I share something I shouldn't by
oh,
by unintentionally and then get in trouble for it?
yeah. Good point. Very good points. Okay, good point. So here's another probing question based on that. Can you recall a time um, when AI technology replaced or altered a role within your team or department, and how did it affect employees?
No, not yet. Maybe ask me that question in a year or two or something, but no. I mean, we haven't really implemented it yet, so
Okay, okay, that's fair. Okay. Here's another probing question. Um, have you noticed any efforts by your organization to address employee concerns about AI job security?
no,
Okay, that's fine.
no, it's kind of just radio silent. Not much info about it at all.
Okay, okay. Here's a new question. We're almost done here, so hang in there. You're doing great. I sound like a doctor. Um, how does your manager or organization communicate about the impact of AI technology and automation on the future of work?
Yeah, there's not much communication at all. It's more things I'm hearing and learning about, like in my own personal efforts, like, taking the continuing education classes and keeping up on tech news and stuff like that. So I've
Okay,
heard a lot more about it personally through personal efforts than I have through the company.
okay, fine. Perfect. Okay. All right. So, here's a probing question based on that. Can you describe a time when you felt their communication about AI changes was clear and effective, and what made it effective?
No, because there hasn't been any.
Okay, that's fair. And here's one more probing question. Um, can you share an instance when you felt the communication about AI changes was unclear or insufficient, and how did it affect you?
Well, there hasn't been any communication, so I
Okay.
guess it's insufficient,
Okay.
but just because there hasn't been any.
Right. Sure. And here's the last concluding question. Um, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Mm. Well, I'm personally interested in AI. I've used it on a personal basis more for writing, like, even things like writing cards to family members and things like that in a fun way. And I'm super impressed with the capabilities of AI and how quickly it it can come back with, output that's helpful. So I've had a lot of fun using it so far. I'm really curious about using it at work, and I'm hoping that these concerns that I mentioned to you get ironed out, because I think it could add a lot of value. So I'm looking forward to learning more about it.
Okay. Thank you very much, participant number one. You did a great job. I'm going to stop the recording. So hang on one second.